Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be focusing on Egypt marking the 7th anniversary of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi being inaugurated as head of state. We'll be looking into all of the achievements, politically, economically, and social achievements that have been taking place over the past 7 years, and what lays ahead as well, what Egyptians want and aspire to under the leadership of President el-Sisi. But before we start doing that, let's check out some of the stories making the news today. And we'll start off with the President directing today the immediate start of the Fustat Hills Garden project, the largest in the Middle East, which extends over 500 acres in the historic heart of Cairo. Now, during his meeting with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Presidential Financial Advisor Major General Mohammed Amin, the President gave his directives to carry out the project according to an executive timeline, considering its multi-faceted value of the development efforts of Greater Cairo, as the garden represents a view of Egypt's immortal history. The head of state also instructed to continue developing roads, hubs and main entrances surrounding the project site to accommodate the movement of citizens and the expected tourism of the park site. Presidential spokesman Bassam Moradi said the meeting tackled the presentation of the capital master plan of the project. During the meeting, Madbouli reviewed details of the project, which will embrace the Civilization Museum and the Lake Ain al-Sira and the religious complex and Amr ibn al-As University. According to Radi, the Garden of the Hills of Fustat will include a number of activities based on the revival of the Egyptian heritage throughout different pharaonic, polar and modern ages, as well as a range of cultural and trade activities, hotel services and exposed theatres, as well as an antiquity area and a heritage garden area, as mediated by a large plateau that allows for unique visual communication with the pyramids of Giza. The garden is expected to integrate with the civilization nature of the place and bring a qualitative environmental shift as the largest green breather in Cairo. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi today met with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, Minister of Health and Population Hala Zayed, Minister of Finance Mohammed Maid, Presidential Advisor for Financial Affairs Major General Mohammed Amin, and Presidential Advisor for Health and Prevention Affairs Dr. Awad Taghdeen. The President gave his directives to provide support for the expansion of kidney transplantation surgeries as the best treatment for patients suffering from kidney failure in order to alleviate their suffering and improve their living conditions. President el-Sisi also directed the expansion of vaccination centers all over the country and established major centers in each governorate to offer the vaccination services to the largest number of citizens. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Moradi said the meeting witnessed the follow-up of the spread of coronavirus as well as the state's efforts to improve the public health and comprehensive medical care to the public. Zayed presented the pandemic situation with regards to the infection spread rates all over the country, as well as in regards to the vaccination process in light of following the World Health Organization and the latest agreement concerning Egypt's production of the Sinovac vaccine by the holding company of Bioproducts and Vaccines, which is due to start to produce 40 million jabs. Also, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi received a phone call from Spain's Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, today, which centered on a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern, including the Palestinian cause and the situation in Libya. During their telephone conversation, President el-Sisi hailed the bilateral ties, saying he looked forward to expanding cooperation with Spain in all fields. The President expressed hope to boost bilateral ties in the healthcare, maritime transportation, renewable energy and tourism, in addition to attracting Spanish investments in Egypt, especially in mega projects. For his part, Sanchez said his country values its ties with Egypt and is looking forward to boosting bilateral ties in various domains. The Spanish premier expressed his keenness to expand coordination with Cairo, which he said is playing a vital role in achieving stability in the Middle East and the Mediterranean regions, hailing its role in fighting terrorism, extremism and illegal immigration. Presidential spokesperson Bassam Radi said President al-Sisi reviewed Egyptian efforts to achieve political settlements to crises in the region. These were some of the stories making the news today, but now let's turn our attention to our topic in hand, the 7th anniversary of the inauguration of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi as head of state for the country. The Egyptians are really proud of the achievements that took place over the past 7 years. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
Egyptians feel proud of their nation's achievements since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has taken over the helm and assumed power on June the 8th in 2014. In just 7 years, the president has proved his doubters wrong. Since assuming power, President al-Sisi has hence worked on a few foreign policy issues that went hand in hand with an ambitious internal policy. A confident diplomatic approach unfolded by the day, with Egypt adding more friends and joining new regional and international alliances. In his inauguration speech, al-Sisi had said that Egypt should remain open to the world, whilst its policies with friendly countries should be determined based on their willingness to cooperate with Egypt in a way that best serves the interests of the nation. Relations should be based on mutual respect without interference in domestic affairs, and this is in the heart of Egypt's foreign policy, which also supports peace and stability in the region and the world. It is one that strongly adheres by principles of international law and conventions and pays big attention to the economic aspect of any relationship. In 7 years, Egypt has attained a non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council, headed the Anti-Terrorism Committee of the UNSC, presided over the Arab Summit and chaired the African Union Peace and Security Council, and was also chosen to head the African Union. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi made many international visits and attended many regional and international events that served Egypt's political and economic interests. In the infrastructure front, under the president's direction, the Armed Forces Engineering Corps have altered the landscape. Egypt's famous Tahrir Square is unrecognizable after its incredible makeover, and the once grubby downtown is now sparkling. Dozens of new multi-lane highways and tunnels have eased travel by road, some cutting journey times by hours. New airports, bridges, axes and roads have also sprung all around the country. Amazingly, besides the grand new administrative capital, there are many other new cities under construction all over the nation. The president has also inaugurated several other projects, amongst them a new airport and road in the northern Sinai Peninsula and a desalination plant in the city of El Arish, as well as the new museums in Sharm el-Sheikh and Kafr el-Sheikh. Meanwhile, the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, close to the pyramids, is said to be the largest in the world and is poised to open shortly, while the Pyramids Plateau at last has new facilities to serve the needs of its visitors. Most importantly, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has fulfilled his pledge to provide housing solutions for the people. Hundreds of thousands of apartments have been built and given to former slum inhabitants, complete with furniture, appliances and green outdoor areas. Also, President al-Sisi, who's proven to be a great patriot as well as a statesman with inherent diplomatic skills, has put the country in a process of transformation in just about every aspect. Despite the coronavirus pandemic ravaging the globe, Egypt's GDP is expected to reach 3.5% by the year's end, the highest in the MENA region. The government's debt to GDP ratio has also declined from 108% in 2017 to 87%. Now, inflation is down to a manageable 4.2% as opposed to over 30% just a few years ago.